it's Miss Jangris here, and this week's lesson is coming straight from the art room. I'm at Hiawatha now, and I just want to mention this lesson that you'll see in the video was originally made for 5th grade students, but no matter what grade you're in or what age you are, you can do this lesson. You're going to learn a little bit about the artist Paul Klee, and then you can make your own art inspired by his work. I actually have another piece by him here in the art room. This one's called Sinbad the Sailor. So I just wanted to show you that. We're really going to look at his piece of work called Castle in Sun. Anyway, I hope you all really enjoyed the lesson. So this piece of art by Paul Klee called Castle in Sun is very interesting to me. If you look at it, you're going to notice a lot of different shapes. A lot of squares, a lot of triangles, a lot of rectangles, and then the sun stands out of being the only circle shape. You'll also notice he used a lot of the same color family, a lot of tints, tones, and shades of red. You do see other colors in there, but most of the colors are from the warm color family. Paul Klee was influenced by a lot of art movements such as Expressionism, Surrealism, and Cubism. And if you've taken art classes with me before, you might recognize some of those terms. You might know the artist Wassily Kandinsky, who is known for abstract art. So art, that's just shapes and lines and not a thing. And they were colleagues and friends, so I found that to be interesting too. So today you're going to create art inspired by Paul Klee. And I'll show you how you might get started drawing castle type shapes, but you can take this lesson however you'd like, and the more shapes and patterns you add, the more interesting your work will be. I'm going to show you techniques that I used to draw mine, and I used watercolors and a material called oil pastel, but you can use markers, crayons, even pencil, anything you have. I like to usually write my artist signature at the end, but I did it this time because this recording was when I was teaching a class, so I was telling students to write their names on first, but you can write yours before or after. As you can see, I'm using a ruler to draw some straight rectangles and lines and topping them off with triangle shapes. And I was going kind of fast, but I would take my time like I did on this second piece here. So as you can see, I've added more rectangle structures, even some other shapes, and then some patterns within them. I decided to add my own sun, and I'm not done. I actually am going to add more patterns, but again, this was a sample, and I wanted to show some of the things you might do with color. First, you'll see that I'm using a black oil pastel to outline my work. So outlining is when you trace over your pencil lines and make a dark, bold line around your picture. So that really makes this kind of work stand out, and I highly suggest it. You can use a black crayon, a dark marker, or just make your pencil lines darker than some of the other colors or shades in your picture. So I highly suggest outlining it. Once you've had all your shapes drawn and you've outlined everything, you can start adding color. I happen to have watercolors here, so that's what you'll see me using, and I'll share some tips and tricks for that. But you can use markers or crayons, and you want to color brightly. Think about Paul Klee's picture. He used a monochromatic color scheme, so he used a lot of the colors in the same family, like I mentioned. So I was thinking about that when I painted here. And if you do use oil pastel or a crayon, the cool thing is if you're using watercolors, it holds in the colors. So you can see I'm putting two different colors next to each other, but the crayon or the oil pastel separates those two colors so they don't mix together. Over here, I'm mixing two colors together on purpose. So if you're using watercolors, it depends what kind of look you want. Or even with crayons, you can mix different colors together in one section of your picture. But if you do want to stand out separately, those lines really help keep the watercolors from blending. If you are trying to blend them, adding a little water to your brush without color and a little more water to it can help it blend together a little more. So those are just some ideas depending on what materials you do have, but really making as many shapes and lines inside as you can. You can see I'm sprinkling salt over my watercolors now, so if you are someone who's going to be using watercolors, and you can do this anytime, while they're wet, you sprinkle a little table salt over them, and it makes a really neat texture. So if you have permission to grab some table salt from the kitchen, you can give that a try if you have watercolors. Here's another Klee painting called Cat and Bird. I hope you enjoy looking at more of Paul Klee's work in the learning plan. See you next time.